Welcome to Study Time, a televised home learning program produced by Rwanda Basic Education Board.
Hello students, welcome to TV learning programs. I'm Agre, teacher of entrepreneurship. Today I'm going to learn with the senior 1 students, and we are still on unit 7, which is business growth. And our today's lesson, my dear senior 1 students, we are going to discuss about the indicators of business failure. Remember, in the previous lesson, we learned about the indicators of business success, or the indicators of business growth. Now today we are going to learn about the indicators of business failure. At the end of the lesson, my students of Senior 1, I expect you to be able to explain the indicators of business failure. But before I take you into our today's lesson, my dear students of Senior 1, I have a question that I want us to revise together. And the question is, outline the indicators of business success and growth. That is the question. A revision question that I want us to revise together. Outline the indicators of business success or growth of the business. Indicators. What are the signs that show a business is growing or a business is succeeding, is successful? What could be those signs or the indicators that show a business is growing and expanding in size? Now, one of the indicators of business success, one of the indicators of business success, indicators of business success, indicators of business success, of business success, of business success include indicators of business success. Now, one of the indicators of business success include, who can tell me? One of the indicators of business success. Someone is telling me that one of the indicators of business success is increase in the volume of sales. That is the first indicator. Increase in the volume of sales. Increase in the volume of sales. Increase in the volume of sales. That is one of the indicators. When a business is able to sell more goods, that shows that a business is growing and expanding. Because when a business is able to sell more goods to the customers, the business will be able to generate more profits. And that is an indicator or a sign that shows a business is growing and expanding in size. The second indicator is increase in the level of profits. 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 And we said a profit is an income that remains after settling all expenses. After clearing all expenses of the business, what remains, the income that remains, is a profit. Because to get a profit, we shall get the total revenue, the income received by the business, minus the expenses incurred by the business. Now that amount of money that remains is a profit. Now when a business is able to generate more profits, when the profits of the business are increasing, the business profits are increasing, now the business that is an indicator to show that a business is succeeding, is growing or expanding in size. The next indicator of business growth is increase in the number of branches. increase in the number of branches, 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 increase in the number of branches. When a business is able to set up other branches, establish other branches in all parts of the country, that is a sign or an indicator to show that a business is succeeding, a business is growing. Because a business is able to open other branches in different parts of the country. That is also an indicator to show that a business is growing or expanding in size. Then, the next indicator of business success or growth, it is increase in the number of customers. Increase in the number of customers. Increase in the number. Increase in the number of customers. Increase in the number of customers. Increase in the number of customers. Increase in the number of customers also is an indicator of business success. Now, when the customers of the business, those who demand the products of the business, now, when the customers of the business, customers are increasing, the business is able to serve a big number of customers than it used to serve. Now, when it is serving a more number of customers, now that indicates that the business is growing or it is expanding. Because when it serves a big number of customers, a business will be able to make more sales. It will be able to sell more goods and generate more revenues, which is also an indicator of business success. Increase in the stock of the business. The next indicator is increase in the stock of the business. Increase in business stock. Increase in business stock. Increase in business stock. Increase in business. Increase in business stock or increase of business stock. Increase of business stock. Increase of business stock. Increase of business stock. Now, increase in business stock. Stock is the total amount of goods available for sale. Now, when the total amount of goods available for sale is increasing in the business, now, the business stores, the available goods to sell are enough to satisfy the demand needs of the customers. It is an indicator to show that a business is growing or succeeding. The next indicator of business growth is increase in the assets of the business. Increase in the assets of the business. Increase in the assets. Increase in 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 assets of the business. 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 Now, we say that an asset is anything of value or a resource of value that can be converted into cash. Now, when the assets of the business are increasing, the assets of the business are increasing, it acts as an indicator of business success, or it shows that a business is growing or expanding in size. The next indicator of business growth or success is increase in the number of employees. Increase in the number. Increase in the number of employees. Increase in the number of business employees. Increase in the number of employees. increase in the number of employees, increase in the number of employees, increase in the number of employees. Now, when a business is able to use more workers, is employing, the number of employees in the business are increasing. It is a sign to show that a business is growing and expanding in size, because the number of employees, the business is employing more people, either to increase its production level, to be able to produce more goods. Now, it also acts as an indicator of business growth or success. Now, the last indicator of business growth or success is improvement in technology used by the business. Improvement in technology, improvement in technology used by the business, improvement in technology used by the business, improvement in technology used by the business. Now, if a business has improved its methods of production, at first, a business used to use poor methods of production, and it could not be able to produce more goods, sell more goods, and generate more incomes that can help a business to succeed. But now, when a business improves its methods of production, if the business was using poor methods of production, now it has adopted to better methods of production. This will help a business to produce more goods, sell more goods, and generate more incomes, which will help a business to grow and expand. Now, improvement in technology, it is a sign to show that a business is growing, because it has started using better techniques of production. Now, our today's lesson, we are going to discuss about the indicators of business failure. And what is an indicator? An indicator. The meaning of the word indicator means, an indicator is a sign. An indicator is a sign. An indicator is a sign showing something. That is an indicator. Now, indicators of business failure, those are the signs that show a business is failing or a business is about to collapse. Now, indicators of a business, one of the indicators of a business, the first indicator that shows that a business is failing is low sales. And what are sales? Sales refer to the amount of goods sold in a given time. Sales refer to the amount of goods. Sales refer to the amount of goods. Sales refer to the amount of goods. Sales refer to the amount of goods sold in a given time. Sold in a given time. Sales. Now, low sales generate low revenues for a business enterprise, which becomes difficult for a business to cover its expenses, hence an indicator of business failure. When a business is selling less products, is not able to sell more products, the business will get less incomes, and it will not be able to clear all its expenses, because the incomes generated from low sales cannot clear all expenses. That shows that a business, it is a sign to show that a business is failing. Then the next indicator of business failure is empty stock. Empty stock. And what is stock? Empty stock. Now, stock refers to the total amount of goods available for sale to the customers. Stock refers to the amount of goods. Stock refer to the amount. Stock refer to the amount, to the total amount. Refer to the total, refer to the total amount, refer to the total amount of goods, refer to the total amount. Refer to total amount or refer to the total amount, refer to the total amount of goods available for sale to customers. Available, 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 available for sale to customers. Available for sale to customers. Available for sale to customers. Now, empty stock. When a business is running out of stock, now the goods available for sale to customers, now they are less. Take an example. If you own a shop and customers are demanding commodities from your shop and you cannot satisfy their demand needs. For example, if I want 5 kilograms of sugar and you cannot be able to provide those 5 kilograms of sugar, that shows that now you don't have enough stock to satisfy the demand needs of your customers. Now, the customers will start buying products from other businesses because you cannot satisfy their demand needs, because what you're selling is less. You can't satisfy the demand needs of the customers. Now, empty stock, when a business is running out of stock, it is an indicator to show that a business is failing. The next indicator of business failure is debt dependency. Debt dependency. And what is a debt? What is a debt? A debt. What is a debt? What is a debt? A debt is the amount of money borrowed by one party from another to serve a financial need. A debt. A debt is the amount of money. A debt is the amount. A debt is the amount of money. Is the amount of money. Is the amount of money. Is the amount. A debt is the amount of money borrowed. Borrowed is the amount of money borrowed by one party, by one party, by one party, by one party from another, by one party from another, to serve a financial need. 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 And it has to be paid back. Now, a debt is the amount of money borrowed by one party from another to serve a financial need. Now, when a business is depending on debts to clear its expenses, that shows that a business is failing. Take an example. If the business cannot clear all its expenses from the income generated from the sales of the business, it is an indicator that a business is failing. If the business is going to pay rent and it has to first borrow money in order to pay rent, if the business wants to pay the workers, the business has to borrow to get, in order to get funds to pay the workers, or to buy, if it wants to buy goods, it has also to borrow in order to buy those goods for sale. That indicates that a business is failing. Because a business on its own cannot generate incomes to facilitate its operations. That is also an indicator of business failure, which is debt dependency. Then the next indicator, or a sign that shows that a business is failing, is low employee morale and high employee turnover. And what is the meaning of the word employee morale? employee morale. Employee morale. Employee morale. The meaning of the word employee morale. Now, employee morale is the attitude and satisfaction an employee has in the place of work. Employee morale is the attitude. Employee morale is the attitude and satisfaction. Is the attitude and satisfaction an employee has. An employee has in the place of work. 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 That is employee morale. Then, employee turnover. Employee turnover is the number or percentage of workers who leave an organization. These two words, employee turnover. Employee turnover. Employee turnover. Now, employee turnover refers to the number or percentage. Refers to the number or percentage. Refers to the number or percentage of employees who leave an organization. Of employees who leave an organization. Who leave an organization. Who leave an organization. Who leave an organization. That is employee turnover. Now, if the attitude at the place of work by employees is bad, they are not happy with the business. They will not feel part of the business. And they will be discouraged to produce more goods so that they can help a business to sell more goods, generate more profits, and expand. Now, with high turnover, with employee turnover, if employees of the business now are leaving the business, they're going to work in other businesses. That shows that employees, they are not motivated. And you may find even the business is losing skilled employees who could help a business to produce more goods, sell more goods, and generate more profits. Now, low employee morale and high employee turnover is an indicator or a sign that shows a business is failing. The next indicator of business failure is late payment of bills. Late payment of bills. And what is a bill? A bill, that is a statement, that is a statement of the amount, that is a written statement of the amount of money that a person owes for goods or services. Or a bill, that is a written statement showing how much you're supposed to pay. That is a bill. A written statement showing how much you're supposed to pay. Now, late payment of bills. If a business does not pay its bills on time, it indicates business failure. When a business cannot be able to pay its bills on time, that indicates that it is a sign showing that a business is failing because it cannot be able to pay its bills on time. And when a business cannot pay its bills on time, even there are extra charges because it is not paying on time. And those extra charges may lead to business losses. And you find it is also it also shows that a business is failing or not succeeding. Then the next indicator of business failure is low demand for business products. And demand is the desire and willingness backed by the ability to purchase or buy a commodity at a given price. Now, when there is low demand when the business doesn't have enough customers to buy the products of the business, a business will not be able to sell more products and generate more profits, which indicates that a business is failing or the business is not growing. The next indicator of business failure is too many complaints from customers. When business starts receiving too many complaints from its customers, it indicates that soon the business will fail. Now, if customers start complaining much about the business, this shows that either the business is not satisfying their needs, it is providing them with poor quality products, or it is not treating the customers very well. And now when customers start complaining and the business is not able to handle the complaints of the customers will start buying products from other competitors, and the business will lose customers and will not be able to make more sales and generate more profits. Too many complaints from customers indicates that a business is failing. The last indicator is poor cash flow management. This is where cash outflows are greater than cash inflows, and this indicates a business is likely to fail. Cash flow management is a process of controlling cash inflows and cash outflows. Now, if a business is not able to control its cash inflows, you find now the cash outflows are greater than the cash inflows, it is an indicator that shows that a business is failing, not growing. My dear students of Senior 1, before I end our today's lesson, I want to leave you with one question of homework. As you're writing down the question, I can read the question. The question is, explain the indicators of business failure in your country. Thank you, my students of Senior 1. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We meet next time. Thank you for your active participation.